students, hope you are well and working hard to achieve your goals. So as we had started our chapter 9, public sector undertakings and global enterprises. In this chapter yesterday we had discussed global companies, its meaning, types, characteristics, merits, demerits, suitability and utility. Then we had discussed the comparison of departmental, public corporation and government company, and case for and against public enterprises. So today we will discuss our last topics, that are public-private partnership, its meaning, definition, features, projects, roles and responsibilities, benefits and strengths. And the last topic, global enterprises or multinational companies. So in this we had discussed the meaning, concept, characteristics, advantages and disadvantages, role and future of global enterprises in India. So first of all we will discuss some key terms that today we are using. So first one is MNCs, multinational companies. So there are some examples of multinational companies in India like British Petroleum, Vodafone, Sony, LG, Reebok. These are some examples of MNCs. Likewise, MNCs and their home countries. So Coca-Cola has its home country in United States, Sony as Japan, Brook Bond as UK, Cadbury again at UK, Coca-Cola at USA, Ford Motors at USA and General Motors USA, General Electric USA and Gillette is also at USA. So these are the companies that they have their home countries in separate part, but they produce goods and services in other countries also. So multinational company is a company or a corporate form of organization which has its head office in one country but has its operations or business operations in the number of other countries is called multinational company. Or we can say that it is a corporation which manages production and delivers services in more than one country is called multinational companies. Next is private companies and public companies. So for example, in the private companies, Reliance Industries, Tata, Infosys, Wipro, ITC, Hindustan Unilever Limited, ICICI Bank are some examples of private companies. Means the private companies are companies which are not run by the government and the control is in the hands of the private investors. On the other hand, public companies, for example, like National Thermal Power Corporation, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, Steel Authority of India Limited, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. These are some examples of public companies. Means the public companies are those which are run by the government and the overall control is in the hands of government. Next we will discuss the public-private partnership. So there are some public-private partnership projects in India like providing VGF support for construction of silos by FCI at Sahnewal, Punjab. Likewise, 4-laning of Ahmednagar Karmala Road, Maharashtra. Development of modern food silo for storage of wheat at Kotkapura, Punjab. Development of food grain silos at Kaimur and Buxar, Bihar. Development and operation of Chittorgarh, Rajasthan. So these are some projects that are to be established with a public-private partnership in India. So public-private partnership refers to the involvement of private sector in the government projects aimed at public benefit in the form of management expertise and monetary contribution. Means the money contribution is to be done by the both public and private. Next is imports and exports. So in the imports, for example, oil, precious stones, electronics, heavy machinery, organic chemicals, plastics, iron and steel, animal and vegetable oil, these are some examples of things that are imported from another country. So import means brings goods and services into a country from abroad for the purpose of sale. Likewise, in exports, for example, in India, things like oil, precious stones, electronics, machinery, iron and steel are imported before. But now, these things are produced and exported to other countries also. So, exports are the goods and services produced in one country and purchased by the residents of another country. Next our term is home country and host country. So for example, like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has its home country in USA and host country is like in India. So home country, the country where one was born or lives permanently, that is called the home country. But in the host country, the country where a company that is based in another country has only its business activities is called host country. So now we will start our topic, that is public private partnership. So private partnership is included the public and the private to undertake a public works projects commonly, and the risk and responsibilities by each of them is called the public private partnership. So there are some examples of public private partnership. Public private partnerships are typically found in transport infrastructure such as highways, airports, railroads, bridges and tunnels. Likewise, examples of municipal and environmental infrastructure includes water and wastewater facilities. So these are some examples of public private partnership. So now the meaning of public private partnership. So the public private partnership refers to the involvement of private sector in the government projects aimed at public benefit in the form of management, expertise and monetary contribution. So these are some major public private projects in India. Like project name is Modernization of International Airport and the state is Delhi, and it is related to the airport sector. Likewise, Cochin Metro Railroad or rail project, it is in Gujarat and urban development is its sector. Likewise, Vizhinjam Port International at Kerala, it is related to the sector port. So likewise, these are the other names of some public private partnership projects that are established in India and working is to be done. Likewise, in Sikkim, Teesta 6 power plant and Teesta 3rd hydropower project is to be established and it is related to the energy sector. So now we will discuss the features of public-private partnership. So the main objective of public-private partnerships is to combine skills, expertise and experience of both public and private sector to deliver higher quality services. Public-private partnerships divide the risk between both the sectors, public and private. Public-private partnerships are related to higher priority government planned projects. Public-private partnerships are used in the government projects aimed at public benefit and not the profit motive. It allows government to overcome their budgetary and borrowing constraints. The project leads to the faster implementation and reduce the product life cycle. The government remains accountable for the quality and the cost of services, and public-private partnerships are different from privatization. Next is fundamental qualities of public-private partnership project. So public-private partnership projects are undertaken for higher priority. Shared risk allocation is the principal feature of public-private partnership project. The private sector must genuinely assume some risks also. The partnership should be mutually valuable, means the value should be for both the sides. Government should also genuinely accept some risks and not transfer to entire risk to the private sector. Next is rules and responsibilities of public-private partnership project. So public-private partnership projects do not mean reduced responsibility and accountability of the government. They still remain public infrastructure projects committed to meeting the critical service needs of citizens. So the government remains accountable for service quality, price certainty, and cost effectiveness of the partnership. So under the public-private partnership format, the government rules gets redefined as one of facilitator and enabler, while the private partners play the role of financer, builder, and operator of the services or facility. Next role or responsibility is public-private partnerships aim is to combine the skills, expertise, experience of both the public and private sectors to deliver highest standard of services to customers or citizens. The public sector contribute assurance in terms of stable governance, citizen support, financing, and assuming social, environmental, and political risks. The private sector brings along operational efficiencies, innovative technologies, managerial effectiveness, access to additional finances, and contribution and commercial risk sharing. Next is benefits and strengths of public-private partnership. So the emergence of public-private partnerships is seen as a sustainable financing and institutional mechanism with the potential of bridging the infrastructure gap. Apart from enabling private investment flows, public-private partnerships also deliver efficiency gains and enhanced impact of the investments. So public-private partnerships leads to efficient use of resources, availability of modern technology, better project design and implementation, and improved operations which are not readily produced in public sector project. So public-private partnership projects also lead to faster implementation and reduced life cycle cost and optimal risk allocation of that projects, and it result in improved delivery of public services and promote public sector reforms. Next is why public-private partnership, why it is needed in India. So public-private partnerships have evidenced growing popularity. Since the 1990s, there has been a rapid rise of public-private partnerships across the world. Governments in developing as well as developed countries are using public-private partnership arrangements for improved delivery of infrastructure services. So the governments are building transport like roads, railways, toll bridges, education like schools and universities, healthcare like hospitals and clinics, waste management as collection waste to energy plants, and water collection, treatment and distribution. That is why the public-private partnership is needed in India. So now the last topic, public-private partnership strengths and effectiveness. So It has various strengths and effectiveness like robust and dynamic structure, government in an enabler role, government ownership is high, governance structure ensures consumer and public interests are safeguarded, commercial interests are protected, domicile risks to parties that are well equipped to deal with them, transparent and well conceived contracts, documentation recognizes rights and responsibilities of the project related parties. Concerns of all stakeholders are addressed, involves participation of a large number of institutions such as government, politicians, banks, financial institutions, investors, contractors, consumers, and NGOs. Next is general structure of public-private partnership. So public-private partnership is increasingly becoming an accepted model for developing and financing infrastructure projects in India. Public sector enterprises faces problems in budgetary constraints, lack required expertise. Likewise, private sector enterprises faces problems in land acquisitions, obtaining environmental pollution clearance, forest permits, securing approval from local authorities. So both public and private sector complement each other in facing these often daunting projects impediments or hindrances. So next is top Indian MNCs or multinational companies in India. So there are some example of multinational companies like Standard Oil at USA, Ford USA, Nestle Switzerland, Unilever Netherlands and UK, Hitachi at Japan, Union Carbide USA, Siemens Germany, Dunlop UK. Next, there are multinational companies and their products like toothpaste, Colgate, Cibaca, blades, Gillette, shaving cream, Nivea, Ponds, washing soap, Rain Wheel Surf, cosmetics like Nivea, Fair and Lovely, tea and coffee, Lipton, Red Label, Nestle, torches and batteries like Philips, Everyday, cold drinks like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So these are some MNCs and their products they are selling in the market. Next, there are some examples of Indian and foreign MNCs. So there are some Indian multinational companies in the auto like Bharat Forge, Tata Motors, Sundaram Fasteners. In the pharma, there are Aurobindo Pharma, Dr. Reddy, Ranbaxy. In the energy, ONGC, Infotech, Infosys, Wipro, manufacturing, Asian Paints, Sterlite. These are some examples of Indian multinational companies. Next is foreign multinational companies like Brook Bond, Cadbury, Coca-Cola, Ford, General Motors, General Electric, Gillette, Hindustan Lever, Lipton, Ponds, Pepsi. These are some examples of foreign multinational companies in India, producing their goods and services and even selling. So global enterprises or multinational companies. So the term multinational consists of multi plus national, means multi many, national means nation or a country. So a company or a corporate form of organization which has its head office in one country but has its business operations in the number of other countries is known as multinational company. It is a corporation that manages production and delivers services in more than one country. So the features of multinational companies are: a multinational company creates or operates in more than one country. It carries out production, marketing and research activities in number of countries. It attempts to maximize profits world over. A multinational company is of giant size. Its scale of operation or production is very large. It employs capital intensive technology not only in manufacturing but in marketing and other areas business too. It has its command advanced technologies so as to provide world class products and services. Likewise, multinational companies employ professionally trained managers to handle advanced technology, huge funds, and international business operations. A multinational company has to compete on the world level. A multinational company has huge assets. A multinational company pays special attention to advertisement. That is the secret of its success. Next is the advantages of multinational companies. So first one is creation of job opportunities. For example, Coca-Cola India is proud to make in India and make for India. 100% of the manufacturing is done in India across 57 factories, which employs 25,000 people directly and over 2 lakh people indirectly. So the multinational companies helps to increase the investment level and thereby employment in the host country. Next is development of professional management. So for example, CA, MBA, IT professionals are included in the multinational companies for better functioning of business. They develop managerial revolution in the host countries by professional management and the employment of latest management techniques. Next is transfer of technology. So for example, mobile phones, laptops, softwares or hardwares are the technologies that are transferred from other countries. The transnationals have become vehicles for the transfer of superior technology to the developing countries. Next is equalization of factor cost. So for example, the MNCs like Dell, Infosys, Coca-Cola are includes professionals. They help or that help in the utilization of money. They work to equalize the cost of factors of production around the world by utilizing the resources from the places of abundant supply. Next is creation of healthy competition. So for example, in mobile phones, there is a healthy competition between the multinational companies and Indian companies. Like Samsung, Sony and Nokia are the multinational companies that are having healthy competition with Intex, Micromax and Videocon of Indian companies. So multinational companies stimulate the growth of domestic enterprises also. In order to support their own operations, they encourage and assist the domestic suppliers for goods and services. Next is increase exports. So for example, machinery including computers, organic chemicals, vehicles, pharmaceuticals are exported from India. So it encouraged by the success of multinational companies, many internal entrepreneurs establish large business units. It increases the export of the country. So next is disadvantages of multinational companies. So first one is creation of monopoly. For example, entry of foreign soft drinks like Pepsi and Coca-Cola killed the soft drink industry of India like Parle drinks and Pure drinks and creates monopoly of their products. So the multinational companies are able to establish monopolies by eliminating local competitions through a lot of publicity and expensive advertising. Next is working against national interest. So through their power, the multinational companies often involve in questionable activities like bribing political leaders and government officials, which are against the national interests of particular countries. Next is threatening national sovereignty. So the tremendous power of multinational companies possess the risk that they may threaten the sovereignty of the nationals or nations in which they do business. Next is exploitation of natural resources. So for example, usage of natural resources like land, water, gas, iron, coal, oil, etc. by MNCs. The multinational companies use the natural resources by the host country or of the host country very carelessly. This improper use of the valuable natural resources of the country is harmful. Next is transfer of unsuitable technology. So for example, import of heavy textile machinery or gadgets that are not required in the country, but MNCs import only for their own profit. So the MNCs from the developed nations brings a technology that is not suited to the needs of the less developed country. So next is no benefit to poor people. So for example, products like electronics, like mobile phones, laptops are produced, but that products are not affordable by poor people. So these companies are generally set up in the underdeveloped countries and produce goods which are used by the rich people only. Therefore, the majority of the people in the country do not get any benefit from these companies. Next is affecting balance of payments. So for example, import of heavy machinery means wastage of home country currency. So multinational companies have an unfavorable effect on the balance of payments of a country. By repatriating profits, they put severe strains on the foreign exchange resources of country. Next is role of MNCs. So multinational companies play both positive and negative roles. As a positive role, multinationals can be a dynamic force or instrument for wider distribution of capital, technology and employment. As a negative role, multinationals act as monsters beyond the control of national governments and working against public interest. So the following safeguards may be taken to ensure the effective role of multinational companies in India. So multinational companies should be allowed entry only in high-tech industries. Multinational companies in the areas of consumer goods should be discouraged. Multinational companies should not be allowed to kill the small and medium-sized business enterprises, and it must ensure the direct foreign investments by the multinational companies. So the last is future of multinational companies. So the multinationals have a bright future because with rapidly changing technologies, transformation of the nature of the organization, globalization of firm and industries are and regional economic integration, the role of multinationals is fast expanding. Cooperation between countries is immediately required to lay down a code of conduct for the multinationals. Entry may be regulated in national interest and a code of conduct may be laid down, and they should maintain flexible approaches and attitudes on all sides. So these are some important points of multinational companies. So now you have to write the question answers. So your first question is, what is meant by public-private partnership? What are the salient features of public-private partnership? Second question is, define multinational companies and explain major features and limitations of such organizations. So go through the various links so that you can write the answer of these questions in a better way.